Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera and a good morning again to all our esteemed shareholders and invited guests to this meeting. On behalf of the board and management of Alam Maritim Resources Berhad, we bid you welcome to this extraordinary general meeting of Alam Maritim Resources Berhad. Similar with the 15th EGM, the convening of this EGM is fully virtual and it's in line or in compliance with Section 3272 of the Companies Act 2016 and Clause 64A of the company's existing Memorandum and Articles of Association, where it is stated that the company shall hold meetings of its members within Malaysia at more than one venue using any technology that allows all members a reasonable opportunity to participate. For the purpose of this meeting, we have the same members of the board and management, and which I believe need no further introduction. And with us is also Puan Nur Azinta Taib, our company secretary, and our external auditors, Mrs. Jafri Salihin Kuzaimi, PLT. And now we shall proceed with the meeting. I shall now call the company secretary to confirm the quorum to convene the extraordinary general meeting.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. Pursuant to Article 72 of the company's existing Memorandum and Articles of Association, 2 members present in person or by proxy or by attorney shall be a quorum for a general meeting for all purposes. I am pleased to confirm the presence of the requisite quorum as at the commencement of this meeting. Based on the Share Registrar's data report, the total number of persons participate in this RPV of this AGM as at 11:20 is 37%.
Right. Thank you, Madam Secretary. The Secretary has confirmed that the presence of the requisite quorum, and I now shall call this meeting to order. Ladies and gentlemen, the notice of the EGM was announced to Bursa Malaysia on the 29th of June 2020 and advertised in the Star on the 30th of June 2020. Due to the postponement of the date of the meeting, the revised notice was announced to Bursa on 17th July 2020 and advertised in the Star on 20th July 2020. The said notice was circulated as per the notice period, and we trust that you have read the notices, and with your permission, I shall declare that notice of the meeting have been read and we shall proceed with the business at hand. I hereby declare that this EGM be convened. Background of the private placement. On 23rd January 2020, UOB Kay Hian Securities Sdn Berhad, an investment bank, had on behalf of our board announced that we propose to undertake the following. 1. A private placement of up to 10% of the total number of issued shares of AMRB to third-party investors to be identified later at the issue price to be determined and announced later in accordance with the general mandate pursuant to Section 75 and 76 of the Act 2016. And 2, a private placement of up to 20% of the total number of issued shares of AMRB to third-party investors to be identified later at an issue price to be determined and announced later. On the 10th of April 2020, UOBKH had, on behalf of our board, announced that Bursa Securities had, by its letter dated 9th April 2020, resolved to approve the following. 1. The listing and quotation for up to 205,265,757 placement shares, 1, to be issued pursuant to the private placement 1. Subsequent to the Bursa Securities approval, we have placed out 45,454,545 AMRB shares at an issue price of 0.066 ringgit and 67,716,582 AMRB shares at an issue price of 0.07 ringgit, which was announced on 21st May 2020 and 29th May 2020, respectively. Pursuant to the private placement 1, In the event the convertible securities are fully exercised, we may further place out a total of up to 92,094,630 placement shares, 1, pursuant to the private placement 1, and 2, the listing and quotation for up to 451,584,666 placement shares, 2, to be issued pursuant to the proposed private placement 2 on the main market of Bursa Securities, subject to the terms and conditions as set out in Section 9 of this circular. On 23rd April 2020, UOBKH had, on behalf of our board, submitted an application to Bursa Securities to seek for an extension of time for AMRB to issue the circular to our shareholders. Subsequently, Bursa Securities had, by its letter dated 30th April 2020, resolved to approve the extension of time of up to 30th June 2020 for ALAM or AMRB to issue the circular to our shareholders. Before we proceed to the agenda of this meeting, I would like to state the procedure to be followed in tabling and approving the resolutions at this meeting as per the administrative guide details for the shareholders on the conduct of a fully virtual meeting which has been uploaded in ALAM's website and TRICO's website. We would like to advise that to ensure smooth running of the meeting, questions raised by shareholders shall be attended to during the question and answer session after the tabling of this agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, pursuant to paragraph 8.29A of the main market listing requirements, ALAM, being a listed issuer, must ensure all resolutions set out in the notice of the EGM will be put to a vote by way of RPV. The following process would be conducted and upon the completion of deliberation, after the completion of the deliberation of the resolution. In this regard, I will exercise my right as the chairperson of this meeting to demand polling in accordance with clause 78 of the company's existing M&A. The board is pleased to inform that TRICO Investor and Issuing House Services Sdn Bhd, TRICO, the company's shares registrar, has been appointed as the poll administrator to conduct the polling process, and Scrutineer Solutions Sdn Bhd, Scrutineer, has been appointed to verify the poll results for the meeting upon the completion of deliberation of all items of resolution to be transacted in this meeting. I would now like to invite the representative from TRICO to explain the online voting procedures through the RPV application.
Dear shareholders and proxy holders, the steps for you to cast your votes via TRICO's remote participation and voting, i.e. RPV application, are as follows. When you are on the live stream meeting page, click on the Go to Remote Voting Page button below the query box. Read and agree to the terms and conditions and confirm the declaration. Select your CDS account number and click the Vote button. Indicate your voting instructions either for or against or abstains for the resolutions that are tabled for voting and click the Next button. Review your votes casted and click on Confirm to submit. Download the document for remote voting for your record if required. To return to live stream meeting page, click on Live Streaming button on the right. Alternatively, if you wish to listen to meeting proceedings while you are submitting your votes, you may click on the Corporate Exercise or Corporate Event button on the left side of the screen and open the link in New Window. Under a new window, select the corporate event for the relevant company remote voting, AGM or EGM. Follow the same steps as mentioned earlier on how to cast your votes remotely. Shareholders and proxy holders are kindly being informed that our voting system allows you to vote for all the resolutions at one time. Please ensure that you have completed voting on all the resolutions before you confirm the submission of your votes. Once the chairman announces the end of the voting session, the system will not allow you to submit your votes. Therefore, please ensure you submit your votes timely before the voting session ends. If you have any questions to raise to Board of Directors, Please submit your questions in the query box, which is available on live stream meeting. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Agenda 1 is a special resolution, proposed private placement of 20% of the total number of issued shares of AMRB. Ladies and gentlemen, the agenda of this EGM is related to the proposed private placement of 20% of the total number of issued shares of AMRB. That, subject to the approvals of all relevant authorities being obtained, approval be and is hereby given to AMRB to allot and issue up to 451,584,666 ordinary shares in AMRB, representing 20% of the total number of issued shares of AMRB. That the placement shares shall, upon allotment and issuance, rank equally in all respects with the existing AMRB shares, save and except that the placement shares will not be entitled to any dividends, rights, allotments, and or any other forms of distribution where the entitlement of date precedes the relevant date of allotment and issuance of the placement shares. That the proceeds of the proposed private placement be utilized for the purpose as set out in the circular to shareholders dated 30th June 2020, and the Board of Directors of AMRB be and is hereby authorized with full power to vary the manner and or purpose of utilization of such proceeds in such manner as the Board deem fit, necessary and or expedient, or in the best interest of the company, subject where required to the approval of the relevant authorities. Pursuant to paragraph 9.1932 of the main market listing requirements of Bursa Malaysia Securities Berhad, the company will make an immediate announcement to Bursa Securities should there be any deviation by 5% or more from the original utilization of proceeds as set out in section 4 of the circular. Further, pursuant to paragraph 8.22 of the listing requirements, in the event that the deviation from the original utilization of proceeds is deemed as a material variation, the company will seek its shareholders' approval for the variation at an EGM to be convened. That the placement shares shall be listed on the main market of Bursa Securities, and that the board be and is hereby authorized to sign and execute all documents, do all things and acts as may be required to give effect to the proposed private placement with full power to assent to any conditions, variations, modifications and or amendments in any manner as may be required or permitted by any relevant authorities, and to deal with all matters relating thereto, and to take all such steps to enter into all such agreement, arrangement, undertaking, indemnities, transfer, assignment and guarantee with any party or parties, and to do all acts and things in any manner as they may deem necessary or expedient to implement, finalize and give full effect to the proposed private placement. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall go next to the next agenda, which is any other business. We shall now proceed to the last item in the agenda. The agenda is to transact any other business of which due notice shall have been given in accordance with the Companies Act 2016 and the company's existing M&A. I would like to call upon the company secretary to confirm whether the company has received any notice pertaining to any other business mentioned earlier.
Thank you, Madam Chairperson. I hereby confirm that Alam did not receive any notice to discuss any other matters.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. With that, we've come to the question and answer session. Okay, we have not received any questions. So as a result, we have dealt with all the items in the meeting agenda, and I shall now put the special resolution to a vote by poll. You may proceed to vote via online remote voting session now if you have not done so. The voting session will be closed in 5 minutes. Should you have any problem, please kindly contact Tricor support line immediately. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to inform that the voting session is now closed. Thank you for voting. Your votes will now be counted by the poll administrator and verified by the scrutineer. As it will take some time to tabulate the results of the resolution and the outcome of today's poll, the outcome of today's poll will be announced later. I propose that the meeting be adjourned for 20 minutes and will resume at 12 o'clock. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. I shall now call the meeting to order for the declaration of the results. Are the results on screen? The scrutineer has confirmed and handed over to me the poll result as shown on your screen. Based on the results, I declare that the special resolution is carried. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen, for taking time to participate in this extraordinary general meeting. I would like to thank our technical crew for handling this live streaming. As there is no other business, I now declare the meeting closed. Thank you.